Well, good evening to you. Great thanks for joining us. This is Channel 1 News Hour, Friday edition, today being the 20th of April 2017. And it looks like there's no let-up on the part of the IEBC chairperson, Wafula Chebukati. Apart from the biggest expectation that he would resign and call it a day at the IEBC, the chairperson instead has asked the appointing authority to ensure that the positions of the 4 commissioners that have since resigned be refilled to allow the operations of that particular commission. And we have those details lined up for you, including the latest, a meeting between former President Mwai Kibaki and the Honorable Raila Odinga. This is in the spirit of handshakes, a month after the handshake between himself and President Uhuru Kenyatta. And again, with former President Daniel Moi. Today, the Honorable Raila Odinga was at President Mwai Kibaki's meeting. We have details lined up for you. But first things first, the highlights.
Yes, and I'm reminded, actually, the Constitution says when you have 3 commissioners, you are considered as a commission.
Staying put. Embattled IEBC chairperson Wafula Chebukati rubbishes calls to resign. Fare thee well. Baringo South MP Grace Kipchoim dies at a Nairobi hospital after losing battle to cancer. And extending the handshake gesture, opposition leader Raila Odinga meets retired President Mwai Kibaki. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Susan Thuku. And of course, today being a Friday, on our Stagger segment tonight, we'll be engaging Sylvia Munia, who is a gospel artist. Let's get to know what is in her songs and what inspires her to do what she does. Tonight, beleaguered Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission chairperson Wafula Chebukati has dismissed calls for him and 2 other commissioners to resign, terming them unjustified. Chebukati instead wants the appointing authority to fast-track the process of replacing commissioners who have relinquished their positions. The unrelenting chair maintains that there's no leadership crisis at the IEBC, arguing that the perceived troubles in the commission only came up after issues of procurement in regards to last year's polls, and that is after they were arrested.
Chebukati, Gulie and Mulu have been under pressure recently to step down from their positions to pave way for the restructuring of the electoral agency. But the 3 officials who now remain at the apex of the beleaguered commission are unyielding.
The national conversation has to be bigger than replacing chairman, commissioners, or even secretariat. It should center on objective transformation of the institution involving all stakeholders.
But they were quick to point out that anyone who wants them out of the commission must follow the law.
In terms of the pressure, do we start with the pressure? Look, we can't stop Kenyans speaking. The people say things. But what I want to say here and now is that if anybody feels that he has an issue with the commission, the law is very clear as to removal of commissioners from office. So they are at liberty to take that route if they so feel.
At a press conference Friday evening, the commission led by Chebukati instead called for the immediate replacement of commissioners who have so far disengaged from the commission.
Yes, we are in office. The law, as considered at the moment, Parliament will have to come up with legislation to spearhead the appointment of new commissioners. And at the end of the day, it's not for us to do that. The appointing authority will have to do that. We are looking forward to them speeding up the process so that the commission is properly constituted so that we can proceed with the commission's affairs.
The beleaguered chair insists that the perceived troubles in the commission only came up after issues of procurement in regards to last year's polls were raised.
Absolutely no personal vendetta, witch hunt, bias, ill will, or tender wars are sensationalized in the media. This is a demand for accountability by the commission. The main issue in question, which the country must demand answers to, is very, very simple and clear. Have public resources been utilized prudently and in accordance with the law? Everything else you are hearing is a distraction.
In this regard, he accuses the 3 commissioners who resigned from the commission on Monday of dishonesty.
Blaming the chair and the two commissioners in office for a lost motion or for an adoption of a resolution to undertake a financial audit is insincere and unfortunate. The claims by the commissioners who are reported to have resigned are misleading and have no legal basis.
In fact, he says to date, not a single letter of resignation has been availed to him ever since the announcement was made on Monday.
The Commission has not formally been notified of the 3 commissioners who have been reported as having resigned from the Commission. As stated before, we only learned of the resignation from the media. We have also read from a section of the media allegations that the reported resignations were instigated by external forces out to undermine the independence of this commission.
In the opinion of Chebukati, issues touching on the commission have been blown out of proportion, shifting focus from the elephant in the room, safeguarding of public resources. Eric Biegon reporting for Channel 1 News.
Like we said, no let up at the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. And of course, we welcome your opinion on our SMS line 22162, as well as on Twitter at KBC Channel 1 at JCuria. To some sad news now, Baringo South Member of Parliament Grace Kipchoim is dead. Kipchoim, who was serving her second term as MP, succumbed to colon cancer Friday morning at a Nairobi hospital. The legislator, who has been in the forefront of campaigning against banditry and uniting warring communities in Baringo County, has also been battling cancer since 2014. Kipchoim, the first Member of Parliament for Baringo South following the boundary delimitation of 2011, is said to have been battling colon cancer for the last 4 years. Her journey epitomizes resilience, winning both nomination and election while in hospital. She beat her closest rival, Charles Kamuren of Kanu, by 394 votes in the 8th of August 2017 general election without even a single campaign. Both friends and foe agree on one thing, that she was fearless and unbowed when confronting the headache of insecurity in her constituency. At one point, clashing with former Tiati MP Asman Kamama over the runaway insecurity from neighboring constituency. But today morning, she breathed her last at the Nairobi hospital, where she was receiving treatment. Political leaders flocking the Lee funeral home to view the remains of their colleague. Leaders paying tribute to her as a fearless defender of her people.
Honorable Kipchoim, despite the monster of cancer, was always thinking about what she can do to other people, not about herself, even in her situation and the situation she was in.
We've lost a leader who was very courageous, who had the people at heart, and who was very committed.
This lady has been fighting very tough issues to do with insecurity and others, and she has never relented. Even when she's in bed, she's been fighting through phone and the like. And
her succumbing to cancer prompting MPs to add impetus to the conversation on declaring the disease a national disaster.
As a matter of fact, we support Honorable Waruguru's motion. We want to also say we support President Uhuru Kenyatta's plan to make universal health care a reality.
Meanwhile, plans to inter her remains will be steered by Baringo North MP William Cheptumo.
We will be able to sit together as leaders from Baringo and the Parliament and indeed our region and the country and plan for the process which is going to begin now.
So rest in perfect peace. President Uhuru Kenyatta wrapped up his second Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting with the biggest takeaway for Kenya being the endorsement for hosting the Ocean Summit slated for November this year. The summit, among other things, is expected to showcase the country's blue economy investment opportunities.
President Uhuru Kenyatta, while closing his second of the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, called on investors from the UK and other Commonwealth nations to invest in Kenya. Early last year, the president requested the country's Blue Economy Committee to prioritize programs that can spur the country's blue economy that's estimated to be worth 300 billion shillings. In a bid to showcase the country's blue economy potential and open it up for more investments, Kenya's successful bid during the ongoing Commonwealth meeting to host the Ocean Summit in November could not have come at a better time.
We are also organizing a Blue Ocean Conference in November between the 26th and 28th of November, and we would hope that everyone that is keen to follow on this agenda will join us in Nairobi for what we will think will be a build-up from the New York conference last year and build up to the one we shall be doing together with Portugal in 2020.
A number of countries, including Canada, have agreed to co-sponsor the summit, with the Commonwealth Secretariat expected to convene the pre-Blue Economy Summit in June this year in readiness for the main summit. According to Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary Monica Juma, the blue economy has been overlooked by many investors over the years despite its huge economic potential.
In fact, in many ways, we have been sea blind for a very long time. And we think, looking at the wealth in our seas and oceans, that there is great potential for innovation, for growing employment, for growing productivity and value addition for our people.
The Blue Economy Summit will be one of the high-profile conferences held in the country after Kenya successfully hosted the UN Conference on Trade and Development in 2016. The conference is further poised to position Kenya as the leading regional conference destination.
Now, the government has announced radical measures as it moves to weed out foreigners working in the country illegally. Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i says a crackdown targeting foreign workers will be launched over the next 2 months, with the government issuing electronic work permits for deserving cases, while action will be taken against those working in the country illegally.
Concerns over foreigners working in the country without having followed due diligence remains rife. And amid the apprehension, Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i has put on notice those working in the country without valid permits. Matiang'i says his office, in conjunction with the Immigration Department, will be scrutinizing every work permit issued over the years in an operation that will begin in the next 2 months.
After 60 days, Mr. Kinoti will conduct a sweep and we will remove from our country people who do not desire to be here. And we are going to tighten. The process of work permits is changing radically beginning now.
The continued issuance of work permits to foreigners amid increasing number of unemployed Kenyans having prompted the latest move.
Honorable members, on this one, you can allow us to work without mercy, because we have so many of our people who are unemployed, and then you bring people into the country and hire them as accountants and hire them as program officers and so on and so forth. You are denying Kenyans, employment, as it were.
The Immigration Department plans to launch an electronic permit in an attempt to boost the country's security, as well as regulate issuance of permits to non-Kenyans. Matiang'i announcing that plans are underway to issue all Kenyans with digital identification cards that will contain all the information.
We are beginning a new project. We are calling it Integrated Personal Identification System. We want to collapse our identification systems so that every Kenyan carries 2 documents. That's how the civilized world works. Your ID is supposed to be your driving license. Your ID can have information on your path, PIN, everything else. And your passport when you're traveling out of the country.
Matiang'i at the same time commended the country's security agents for their commitment to secure the country's borders. For Channel 1 News Weekend, from Mombasa County, I am Ann Buru.
And now Deputy President William Ruto has urged leaders in the North Rift to take advantage of cultural exchange programs in preaching peace and reconciliation among communities. While attending the 12th annual Turkana Cultural Festival, the Deputy President told the leaders to support the harmonious coexistence and ensure stability in the area for the sake of development.
Pomp and color marked the climax of the 12th annual Turkana Cultural Festival in Lodwar. Top brass leaders from various counties joining locals in their traditional regalia to celebrate the festival dubbed Tobong Lore, meaning welcome back home. While officially closing the event, Deputy President William Ruto called on leaders in the North Rift to use such platforms to strengthen their unity for peaceful coexistence and harmonious relations.
We have come to this celebration because it is national and because we want to use the positive aspects of our culture to drive the future of our country.
Ruto further said that the Jubilee government is committed to its mandate to protect the lives of Kenyans and their property, but challenges community to first lead peace initiatives.
Hatutaki tena ugomvi, hatutaki fitina ya ukabila, hatutaki ushenzi wa fujo, tunataka tuungane, Turkana hii tubadilishe.
He said it is through teamwork and unity that challenges of insecurity along the Kerio Valley could be solved, saying the government would work closely with leaders in solving the problems associated with oil. The DP said the government deliberately appointed John Munyes from the county as Petroleum and Mining Cabinet Secretary to solve problems pertaining to the sector, since he understands the issues raised by the leaders. Area Governor Joshua Tunanok said leaders along the Kerio Valley have resolved to work together in addressing the challenges of insecurity caused by banditry and cattle rustling activities.
Sisi ni watu moja. You be in Uganda, you be in South Sudan, you be in Kenya, you be in Ethiopia, you be in West Pokot, we are all one people. And we as leaders must show the people the right direction, peaceful direction, so that they are able to develop themselves.
Irene Mchuma Bim, Channel 1 News Hour.
And now, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga Friday held talks with retired President Mwai Kibaki at the latter's Muthaiga home. The agenda of a surprise meeting, which comes a month after Raila's handshake with President Uhuru Kenyatta, was not immediately clear. The ODM leader was accompanied by his legal advisor, Paul Mwangi, to the meeting.
Opposition leader Raila Odinga Friday held talks with retired President Mwai Kibaki and what many may see as the fruits of the Harambee House handshake between the ODM leader and President Uhuru Kenyatta. Details of the surprise meeting were not immediately available, but many see the move as the extension of working relations between Raila Odinga and the government. This is the first time Raila was meeting Mwai Kibaki for talks since leaving office. The meeting with Kibaki comes barely a week after he held similar talks with the retired President Daniel Moi at Kabarak in Nakuru County. Earlier Friday, Raila hosted Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko at his Capitol Hill offices. Sonko, who expressed support for Uhuru Kenyatta's and Odinga's initiative dubbed Building Bridges to a New Kenyan Nation, discussed the state of the city with the opposition chief. Linus Mwashigadi for Channel 1 News.
Time for a well-deserved breather, but of course when we come back with more news lined up for you, including our Stargast segment tonight, and we're featuring Sylvia Munia, a gospel artist. Don't go too far.
The Easy Banking app is your bank anywhere, anytime. Everything you do at the bank is on Easy Banking app. You can use the app to send money, pay bills, buy and pay for goods and services, access easy loans, check the status of your account, save for future goals, and so much more. And now you can enjoy an even better banking experience with the just updated Easy Banking app. Loaded with a great suite of powerful features, so you're always in control of your banking lifestyle wherever you are. Download the Easy Banking app from Google Play Store or App Store and link your Equity Bank account. If you do not have an Equity Bank account, open one hapo from the app. Easy Banking. Experience convenience in life.
Je, waweza fanya nini kwa dakika 4? Na mega dola. Unaweza piga chef? Na mega dola. Kila kitu ni mega. Waweza pika ugali? Na mega dola. Pesa hapa ni mega. Labda waweza fua nguo. Ama unaweza tengeneza milioni 30. 4 minutes are enough to win big with Mega Dollar. Just go to Lipa na M-Pesa, select Pay Bill, enter business number 29588, enter account name KBC, deposit 10 shillings or more, enter your PIN and press OK, then choose 10 numbers from 1 to 80 and send to 29588. And you can win up to 30 million shillings every 4 minutes. Deposit, play, and win with Mega Dollar. The big game for big winners.
Please, darling, keep it to yourself.
So we'll tell this family every little one of your dirty secrets. And everything, including what you and your mom have been planning.
Hii inatumia Paul. Gran.
Kisaka, please. Start some cup of tea.
Thank you very much. I'm a bit late. You can have it on my behalf.
Mbona leo niletee chai?
Na akasema nipatie Jerry hii.
Will you bring my daughter if I promise to find where your mom is?
Find her today, and I will deliver Malaika and everything we agreed on.
How bad is it?
Jill is worried. Ukipata mamake utafanyaje?
Malaika, who is it?
Keep all to yourself.
Well, welcome back. This is Stagger segment, and of course, that song you just saw is by Sylvia. The song is called Niwe. I know that means it's you. Yeah. And let's just engage the musician. She's here with us, Sylvia Munia, a gospel artist. Thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Thanks.
Let's just, begin with that song, Niwe. What inspired that song?
It's based on a personal experience. I was going through a hard time, and then one time during my free time, someone just told me, just go to the studio and do your stuff, maybe you could feel better. And then when I just went there and started playing with the keyboard and everything, the song just came up, and the producer just started recording as I was singing along. So it's basically calling upon God to come and help me through my situation. Yeah, that is why it's only you, God, who can help me, who can see me through whatever I'm going through.
And the song made you feel good?
Yes, immediately after that song, I was like, anyway, I just need to let go and let God.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. So I am happy it encourages so many people to also be able to rely on God and move on, knowing that God is with them throughout the journey.
Let's talk about your singing career.
Yeah.
How long have you been singing?
Close to 8 years or more. Anyway, I started singing as a child, but I recorded my first album in 2008 and then re-recorded it in 2015. Now officially, I like doing things professionally when you have good sounds, good producers, so that it can fit in the productions, whatever industry. So from 2015, that's when I started doing now official productions, up to date.
Wow, that's 8 years and counting.
Yes.
How is the journey so far, if you were to describe it?
I would say so far I've seen God. It takes a strong person to just keep going through. But because we're in this cause to praise God, and it's not, something that's, supposed to just be a short-lived. It's just something like it's a lifetime thing. So I'm happy that I'm taking each day at a time.
Oh.
Yes.
How many albums do you have?
I have one album. There's one single out called Shangwe. The first album is called Sifubana, but I'm still in the studio doing more songs, so this year people should expect more from me.
All right.
Yes.
Shavov Funken.
Yes.
An American musician.
Yes.
There's some fusion of it in one of your songs.
Yes.
Why did you do it that way?
Because I love her one, and then, yes, I love her songs. They're so inspiring. So as I was still in the studio, most of my songs I just do it with keyboards and playing around with the instruments and all that. So it just came, the song just came when we just did it in Swahili, and that's it. you know.
I don't know whether my producer has it, but
Yeah.
you know, for the purposes of this conversation, so that people know what we're talking about,
Yeah.
can you do like a soft one very quickly?
Yes.
Yeah, with the ooh na 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 na
Yeah.
stuff. Uh-huh.
Napotazamia mbinguni ninaona nuru, ninakuwa huru. Yote Baba uliyoumba kwa mfano wako yawe yapendeza. Wewe ni mkuu wa majeshi, hakuna yeyote anayekuweza. Nitakusifu milele yote, na hakuna litakalo tutenganisha. So it's basically just the same tune as she has done, but now I've just done it in Swahili.
All right.
Yes, and then the chorus goes, ooh na 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 na, ooh na 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 na, mwimbie Bwana. Something like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I found it to be a very fantastic song.
Thank you so much.
Let's talk about the gospel industry, because I mean, 8 years you have been into this industry,
Yes.
and perhaps you've seen the motions around
Yes.
the gospel industry.
Yes.
How would you describe the gospel industry as it is right now?
I'll say we have a section of people who are truly in it, just to spread the gospel and in truth and in spirit. We also have a group that's there that's probably out there to just make a name and everything. But all the same, I would say we are growing. We're not where we were some years back. So far we are growing in terms of productions, quality videos and everything else, even good messages out there. So as I speak, I can say that there's growth from the way it started up to where it is right now, and I hope you still keep growing.
You spoke about two groupings, one that is singing in truth and in spirit, as you say,
Yes.
and another that is here to just make a name
Yes.
and go.
Yes.
As a genuine gospel artist, I presume you are.
Yes, I am.
How do you feel when you see these people who are here to make a kill, be popular and go?
You don't feel so good because, it's just like tagging yourself under Jesus Christ to sell through gospel. But I would wish we'd get to a point where everybody just went before God and did it with the sole purpose of changing people and not only doing it for fame and money and everything else. So I cannot condemn anyone as per now, but it doesn't feel so good when you see a song and doesn't speak to you spiritually. You know what I mean? You're just there naming the word Mungu, God, just for it to sound like it's a gospel song. Well, it's not. But I'm hoping we'll get to that point where everybody will
And I
will
know
do
tens of those gospel artists who have to insert the word Jesus and move somewhere.
I
That
don't
song
know.
sounds gospel. I know tens of them, by the way, in the streets.
Yes.
But let's get back to you.
Yeah.
How would you describe your childhood? Because most of the people that are musicians either come from a musical family or were inspired by something that happened in their family or in their childhood to become musicians. How would you describe your childhood?
It was musical. Fortunately, my mom is an artist and she's a gospel artist. I'm sure she's watching. So hi. And growing up, seeing her, writing songs. She used to write so many songs and also singing them in churches and everything just made me kind of flow in the same line. But I would say it's still a talent in me because I would sing in churches when I was a very little girl and also in schools, concerts and everywhere. So my childhood was basically musical. Yes, and that kind of helped me grow even as I became an adult, because the same courage that I have of facing people and doing everything started way back when I was a child.
Most of these people with stories of I started singing young and
Yes.
this is why I am still singing,
Yeah.
are presumed to have been straight jacket people. They're people who were good straight jacket. There are no zigzag ways about them. Were you a straight jacket kind of kid?
I wouldn't say so. When you're a teenager and everything, you start feeling like, maybe I can do this, I can do that. It has never been from the word go, this is what I want to do. But because I always found myself either being called to sing and represent and do stuff, I always found myself back to
You behaved
music.
accordingly.
Yes. But still, the feeling of I love music has never faded at all.
All right.
Yeah.
I was reading somewhere that you love ministering in churches
Yes.
and schools.
Yes.
Why so?
Because especially in schools, where we have very young people, and you want them to understand why it's important to grow. believing in God and respecting God and loving God. So when we go there and we talk to, the young girls and the young boys and everything, it helps them to also open up and grow respecting and fearing God. So schools are my favorite.
I believe you saw the hashtag Ifikie Wazazi.
Yes.
You saw it?
Yes.
How would you say?
It's been trending.
You're very trending.
Yes.
How would you say then that we can encompass gospel music and ministering in schools to ensure that we nip some of these behaviors in the bud and they never get, to leak out? And I mean, when I mean leak out, it doesn't mean that they do it in hiding and it is not known. But how do we ensure that we bring up a people with morality to know what is right and what is wrong, and particularly through gospel music and ministering in schools?
I think first of all, for the gospel artists to also be able to bring out music that the young people can identify with, not only with style and dancing and everything, even with the messages. And number two, also visiting them, whether in schools or wherever they go to church, and having sessions with them and just enlightening them and just comforting them, because these people most of the time feel lonely and they feel like they're in the world of their own. So I think for us, for the gospel, fraternity, to be able to identify with these young people and go to wherever they go, for whether sports or wherever, and they just have a segment where they talk to them and everything, I think that will help the youth change their ways. Yes.
Gospel music is about show. Where are you appearing? What are you doing?
Yes.
Let's say maybe over Easter or Christmas, what gigs do you have?
Yeah.
How many have you done?
Okay, honestly, I'm not so much into gigs, although I've done, like several where you go to churches and do all that stuff. But I believe so much in going to the people where they are, not necessarily it being a gig. It could just be, like a simple function, and I just go and minister to people. Because I don't want to just be there to make a name, just as Sylvia. She's, she's trending and everything, but to be able to change people from the grassroots. So basically I wouldn't say that the national, shows and gigs are so much there, but I'm doing so much huko mashinani. Yes.
Music.
Yes.
Mambo ya kasenti.
Yes.
And it's a huge topic, by the way.
Yes.
Does music pay?
If you're in music with the sole intention of, being rich and everything, that might not even happen at all.
But why would you invest all that money in music and then it has no return?
Because it depends with your intention, like I said. There are people who invest heavily. There are people who even take loans just to shoot deadly videos so that they can sell and trend. And there are people who are out there and they do very, very simple videos and they sell. You know what I mean? So it depends with your sole intention. If you're out there to make money, well, you have to invest a lot of money. And then at the end of the day, it's just about money.
But it's just not a justification to give us a poor video, right?
It is not a justification to give a poor video, but all I'm saying is, if you're out there to make money, then you must invest. We invest in a lot of it, But if you're there to change people and the society and everything else, then money will come when it wants to come, but it's not your main intention. Yes.
You do music full time?
No, I work in Nyeri.
Okay.
Yes, I'm a manager at a place called New Pine Timber Processors. We deal with interior designs and timber productions and everything you see decorated in houses. That's what we deal with. So that's my main job. But then now when, these are the passion, I do music.
All right.
Yes.
The man in studio with the national t-shirt. I know the viewers cannot see him. Who is he?
That's my husband.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. I am one lucky person to have a husband who is, supporting me in this. So many people don't support each other. But he's been my number one fan. I would say the far I've come, he's really held my hand. And so I thank him for being there for me.
Okay.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Except us supporting us, no. How do you deal with that? Anyway. That's the joke. So you're going to give us one song and then we can just wind up the show. Unfortunately, seat time is very much gone.
Yes.
Of course, it's one of your songs that will be playing on air.
Yes.
We'll just ask them to pull it down a bit so that you can do like an acapella of one song.
Okay.
Go ahead. Which one?
I'll sing Newe because probably Yeah. Matarania magoro yakwa kegireko ona korera gai wakwa meokara okadeithora okahenya newa mundaithori wakwa haroro kafafa onyonekanire newe mundaithori wakwa haroro ka onyonekanire.
Fantastic. That's
Thank
German.
you. That's Kikuyu.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's just saying, come Lord and show yourself in me and rescue me.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Sylvia, for joining us
Thanks
tonight.
for having
An
me.
absolute pleasure
Thanks for having me.
speaking to you. And of course, we wish you all the best as you
Thank you
continue.
so much.
Like you said, 2018 should be a bigger year in terms of making
Bigger,
songs.
bigger.
And we'll be here cheering you on. And of
Thank
course,
you.
calling you on this very same set as we take
Thank
stock
you.
of what you're doing, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
All right, time for us to take a breather. Of course, we'll leave you with one of her songs by Sylvia. But then up next will be business.
SportPesa would like to notify the general public that the midweek jackpot game number 13 between Fenerbahce and Besiktas that was to be played on Thursday 19th of April 2018 at 8:30 p.m. was abandoned due to violence between fans after 59 minutes of play. In accordance with our terms and conditions, abandoned games should be played within 24 hours. Should the game be rescheduled to play after the 24 hours, a public draw will be conducted to determine the outcome of the abandoned game and thus fully result the jackpot. Watch the draw live on KBC Channel 1 at 1:30 p.m.
Please, darling, keep it to yourself.
So we'll tell this family every little one of your dirty secrets. And everything, including what you and your mom have been planning.
Hii natumia Paul. Gran.
Kisaka, please. Start some cup of tea.
Thank you very much. I'm a bit late. You can have it on my behalf.
Mbona leo niletee chai?
Na akasema nipatie Joel hii.
Will you bring my daughter if I promise to find where your mom is?
Find her today and I will deliver Malaika and everything we agreed on.
How bad is it?
Jill is worried. Ukipata mamake utafanya aje?
Malaika, who is it?
Keep on to yourself.
Our universities and institutions of higher learning should begin to produce products that talk to our vision as an African continent, rather than continue to churn out graduates premised on Western or Eastern education trust. It is necessary that, again, our industry and commerce talk to our institutions so that their curriculum produce products which relate and is able to talk to our own industries.
Mega Dola. Majina ni Gabriel Wata, mkaaji wa Maseno, shabiki mkuu wa Mega Dola. Saa 6 mchana nikatumiwa message ya kwamba nimeshinda shilingi 50,000. Hiyo pesa itanisaidia kama kulipa karo, madeni na matumizi mengine ya nyumba. Cheza na kwa hakika utashinda.
Nawe pia cheza ushinde leo. Top up kwa paybill number 295888 uanzie sasa.
Well, it's time for us now to do a business. And the Chinese government has committed to fast-track elimination of double taxation on Kenyan goods destined to China as a means of strengthening bilateral trade and investments between the two countries. Speaking during the Kenya-China seminar on the Big Four, Housing and Urban Development Cabinet Secretary Dr. James Macharia further called for a funding partnership with China in order to realize the Big Four agenda, particularly on housing. China's development assistance to Kenya currently stands at 730 billion shillings.
China has emerged as Kenya's largest trading partner, and the country is not shy in looking towards the east to accelerate achievement of the Big Four plans.
Today, China is one of our leading bilateral donors, with the cumulative official development assistance amounting to 730 billion. It comprises grants of about 30 billion.
Among the areas that Kenya seeks partnership with Chinese enterprises include industrializing the textile and apparel sector, as well as building industrial parks and special economic zones.
So we would like to encourage the Chinese investors to focus not just on growing for Kenya, but also growing for the region and for the global market.
We need to get this right, because Kenya cannot move up the value chain if we do not get science, technology, and our exports sorted out.
Achieving food security also includes putting 700,000 acres of land under cultivation of maize, rice, potato, cotton, aquaculture, and livestock, as Kenya seeks to add value on its products. Streamlining taxation is also among the deals Kenya seeks to enter into with China in a bid to increase output in the manufacturing sector.
We will speed up negotiations on measures that will stimulate bilateral investment, as well as the process to put into force agreements, including judicial assistance, elimination of double taxation, and others, to foster a better policy environment for the bilateral economic and trade cooperation.
To this end, the government is further calling on the private sector to support exchequer funding towards the Big Four.
Kenya-China collaboration and partnership will provide the necessary impetus and benchmark for achievement of the Kenya economic aspirations. We seek technical and funding support and partnership in order to realize the goals of the Big Four plan together.
We consider the Big Four agenda to be properly formulated to the needs of Kenya, and many of us are willing to join efforts with our Kenya friends and partners to work for it.
To date, there are 400 Chinese companies operating in the country. Ronald Willie, NewsHour Business.
In the meantime, African exchanges should fast-track integration initiatives like the Capital Markets Infrastructure Project and create a pool of skilled personnel. This will make stock markets a platform of choice for raising long-term funding for government and the business community. NASDAQ Managing Director for Africa, Michelle Carlson, says marketers should also adopt technology and innovation to deepen their presence in the continent, as O'Brien Kimani reports.
Capital markets across the world are becoming increasingly automated and integrated to make them more efficient and create more business. However, integration of the African market is hampered by lack of technology and the nascent growth levels. With more than 50 countries, the continent has less than 5 markets that attract global headlines.
There is a knowledge, but you see that the decision making is the issue in our region. Now, is that decision making because of financing? Is it because of segmentation of the market? I'm not sure. So I would say the knowledge is here. The decision making is what's hindering the market to develop as fast as I wish to see it.
NASDAQ Managing Director for Africa and Middle East, Michelle Carlson, says to create vibrant markets, there is need to increase product offerings at each market, train market intermediaries, carry out public awareness drives, and support integration of market infrastructure. Head of Equities at EFG Kenya, Paul Muadhi, says market requires modern systems that meet different market needs.
Mobile operators can also be key partners through collaborative ventures with innovators and tech hubs. providing direct investments and access to key network APIs and distribution channels.
This will also make it possible for capital markets to attract global capital flows and participate in international capital markets. O'Brien came in for Business News Hour.
Kenya's earnings from fresh produce exports grew by 11% to 115 billion shillings for the year ending December 2017, up from 103 billion shillings recorded in a similar period in 2016. Canned flour exports still lead the pack, contributing over 70% of the total fresh produce annual earnings, while fruits and vegetables earned 9 billion and 24 billion shillings, respectively.
Economic uncertainties in 2017 precipitated by a protracted electioneering period, Kenya's fresh produce sector remained stable, with earnings growing by 11% to 115.25 billion shillings.
The 5% last year gave us 115 billion shillings, and the domestic market gave us 305 billion in terms of revenue in 2017.
According to a report by the Fresh Produce Consortium of Kenya, flour exports were the largest earner, contributing 82.24 billion shillings, up from 70.83 billion shillings earned in 2016, representing a 11.6% growth of export volumes of 159,961 tons.
That is what has been captured within the government system. What has not been captured, which basically sold between neighbor to neighbor, is not documented anywhere. And that leads us to the key, and the seventh most big item that we are going to work on is going to be on data.
Fresh Produce Consortium of Kenya Chief Executive Officer Osegere Ojepat says despite the growth, the sector continues to face challenges, among others lack of traceability of systems for the fresh produce, high cost of production, lack of extension officers, taxation issues and poor information flow. Going forward, FPC intends to partner with value chain players so as to boost their bargaining power with government and development partners and focus on how to do local testing for products. The consortium will also work at harmonizing international and domestic standards for fresh produce to ensure that what is consumed locally is also of high quality.
KS 1758 to ensure we raise the standards of what is sold locally meets the standards of what we sell internationally as exporters. We'd want also to offer the local market what we offer to the international market.
The consortium currently has members drawn from different value chains in agriculture.
Every 4 minutes is a chance for you to win big.